Happy Monday, special edition. Sergeant Dorsey Speaks live at 6, live at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 on the East Coast. Trying to do the math in my head as we speak. So I'm sorry, you guys, for being a little tardy, but the gremlins were busy tonight. And so I decided to just back all the way out, shut down, and start all over again. So I hope we're good right now. And if you guys are having any issues with my image being blurred this time around, let me know. But I think we're good. Yeah, thumbs up means we're good, family. Perfect. Gotcha. Thank you, Debbie. I appreciate that. So I'm just going to be real quick. I just wanted to kind of touch base with you guys a little bit, update on what's, hey, Dwayne, thanks for coming back. Update you on some things that have transpired since we were last together, because I made mention of it on Facebook over the weekend, and I kind of wanted to just kind of clear the air. Hold on. I think I need to freshen up. Hang on. Better? I think better. Okay. So, just wanted to touch base with you guys. And I started to talk to you about something that is going on that you need to know about. And so let me see if I can share this with you from my other device so that I don't have the issues with bandwidth or whatever foolishness this is that's going on. I talked to you guys about this a while ago. I'm going to remind you again and again, because some of you guys are kind of hard-headed and stubborn, but this is very important, and I need you to make sure you take care of this. And this is for my traveling family. For those of you who haven't already got this new Real ID, it's called Real ID. If you don't have a Real ID, it's issued by your state, and you're going to need it if you travel, even domestically. You need this Real ID. So I'm going to share the link with you. I'm going to make it very easy for you, family. There's no reason to not get this done. I don't want to hear anybody say they showed up at a terminal and got turned away, or better yet, got arrested because you were acting up when they told you, yeah, you can't get on this plane, sir, ma'am. You don't have Real ID, and you're going to probably be running late like we tend to do, and you're going to absolutely lose it. So I am sharing with you right now the the link that you can go to and find out what the compliance requirements are in your particular state. If you have a passport, excuse me, if you have a passport, you don't have to worry. Hey, Randy, if you have a passport, you don't have to worry about Real ID. But you do need it if you don't have a passport, even to travel domestically. So October 1, 2020, it will be here before you know it, family. And you don't want to be caught lunching, right? Can I say that? Is that a thing? Did I just date myself? Yeah, you need to take care of that. Now, there's a YouTube subby by the name of Thomas, and I won't say your last name, but Thomas shared an email with me, and thank you, sir, for doing that, because I was not aware of this story. And so I want to share this with you right now. I'm not going to wait till till Thursday, till our next time together on the podcast. I want to share this with you because, listen, I told you Texas frightens me much like Florida frightens me. And there is a young woman by the name of Margarita Victoria Brooks. And apparently, a couple of months ago, in August, Margarita is homeless. She's 30 years old. She's a white woman. I don't know why she's homeless. It's reported that her father is a police chief, a captain, or something like that. They're in good old Texas. Tarrant County, again, is where this happened. Don't know the name of the police agency that's involved, but I'm going to share the story with you because in August, she was asleep, maybe, or unconscious. I'm not really sure, in an area that she's known to frequent. She's known to the people that live there, probably the officers who patrol there. She's often in this mall site area with her dog, a 40-pound lab mix, Labrador Retriever mix, and her boyfriend. And on this particular day, someone saw her either asleep or passed out, became concerned, called the police, welfare check. Can you just come by, fire department, paramedics, and check on Margarita? And so before the fire department paramedics could get there, a police officer arrived. And the police officer's name is not known to me. I don't believe it has been made public yet, because this thing is kind of flying under the radar. And so I'm sharing it with you so that for those of you who live over there, you might want to reach out and speak to the police chief over there. And his name is Will Johnson, Police Chief Will Johnson. The officer is a 25-year-old police officer who graduated from the police academy in February of this year. And it says that he completed his field training on July 1. Now, I don't know what the difference is about graduating in February and completing field training. Does that mean that after January 1st, he was able to go out solo, work in LCAR, one-man unit, if you will? Maybe that's what it means. But nonetheless, he didn't have a whole lot of time on the job. And so you understand why when he went there to do this welfare check, what happened next happened next. He encounters Margarita Victoria Brooks, 30 years old, and says that she was unconscious on the grass. Now, I don't know if she was unconscious or if she was just in a deep sleep. It's also reported in the article that they said they didn't know whether or not she was under the influence of narcotics or alcohol. So I'm just wondering, if they didn't know, why'd they say it? But to dirty her up, right? Ethnicity matters not when you have a fool with a gun in their hand. And so the officer approached Margarita and allegedly her dog, who was not on a leash. Could be a problem. But typically, I know, having worked Skid Row downtown LA and Venice Beach, dealing with people that are homeless who have pets that travel with them, generally the pets are very docile. They're usually very well behaved. They won't run off. They stick with their owners. And, so there's really no reason in the minds of these pet owners to, leash their dog, even though most places do have a leash law, spirit of the law, not letter of the law, right? When it comes to enforcement, little common sense. If sense were common, everybody would have it. So the dog approached the officer. Of course, they say the dog lunged or charged the officer. And so 25-year-old, recently graduated from the police academy, just completed his field training, July 1 officer, fired 3 rounds at the dog. And he grazed the dog, wounded the dog, but killed Margarita. This officer killed Margarita. So this was in August. This was a welfare check in Tarrant County in August. And I don't know the name of the police agency because I don't know it. But if you are enterprising and want to get involved and engage, like I ask you to from time to time, if you want to shed a little light on this for the family of Margarita Victoria Brooks, and get behind them and find out what the heck went on over there, Chief Will Johnson, with this officer. What the heck? What's going on with you guys in these welfare checks? Another lady dead. Couple of months before Tatiana was shot and killed in the midst of a welfare check. So listen, they better figure this stuff out, and they need to figure it out pretty quick over there in Tarrant County, Texas in particular, and everywhere else where police officers do welfare checks, because these things should not be winding up in fatal police shootings. This is just totally unacceptable. And so I don't know, if they're keeping this thing on the low, because maybe this officer did do something that was just left of what's right. And, if her father is a fire chief, fire captain, whatever that means, it sounds to me like maybe he might have the ability to maybe raise a little hell ask some questions. But again, he's active apparently, and so maybe he doesn't want to run the risk of jeopardizing whatever little career he's got left. So anybody, everybody, reach out to the police department over there, Police Chief Will Johnson. Click on the link, get more information if you will, and see what you can do to get behind this family. So I wanted to share that with you. And then I just wanted to talk real quick, just real quick about a Tatiana Jefferson lights ceiling fan equals this. Forgive me. Tatiana Jefferson was supposed to be funeralized on Saturday. It was postponed. I've read other articles that said it's been canceled. At any rate, it didn't happen on Saturday. Now, some of you may know that there was a restraining order that was issued on Friday. It was granted to her father, Marquise Jefferson, I believe is his name. And there's some consternation, if you will. You know how we can be when there's a death in the family and we throw some cash in there and folks can get real silly real quick, right? Father said right away when we heard about the incident, when we heard about her death, that he had a policy. He was prepared, willing, and able to provide for his daughter in terms of a funeral service and intended to do just that. It's been reported, I've heard from folks on the ground there, that her mom is very, very ill. And some of this information didn't get to her, maybe because they didn't want to further upset her. But father versus maternal aunt. And people understand, parents trump auntie all day, every day, particularly if the person is not married, and she wasn't, and they don't have any children. They would be the next of kin. She had none. So that means dad gets to do what a father should be able to do for his daughter. Auntie didn't really see it that way. And so dad went to court on Friday, got a restraining order. Judges do not issue restraining orders lightly. So that means dad came correct. He had all of his T's crossed and his I's dotted, and they were to return back to court today for final resolution with regards to what's going to happen. And so not only were they not able to carry on with the funeral on Saturday as planned, the mortuary was also told to stand down. Now, I don't know if that means they'll go to dad will take her body to a different mortuary. I mean, this can get very sordid. I pray for this family and I hope that they will be able to resolve this. And then there's the question of whether or not the funeral is going to be public or private. And I saw this question being asked, and listen, I don't even know if this is a debate we're entitled to have. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I think, if dad wants to have a private funeral, that is absolutely his right. And we are not entitled to be there. I thought when Prince first died and we heard 24 hours later, he had been cremated and that was that. Those were his wishes. I thought, wow, that was kind of quick. And man, how do we even get to mourn for him, right? Because it's not about him, it's about us in our minds because we're left behind. But maybe that's the way to do it. Just get it over with. I'm out of here. Be done. There's no fussing and fighting, no cussing and stabbing. So I don't know what's ultimately going to happen. I am just kind of passing this on for those of you who were asking questions, and I didn't want to go into a long diatribe and start typing up a conversation on my timeline about, what's going on and who, why, when. But it's internal. It's familial, it's paternal versus maternal side of the family that's in disagreement. But as I said, parent trumps auntie all day, every day. And I hope that they will soon be able to work this out. And to be quite honest, really, probably, maybe it might be best if they just handle it privately and keep those who would want to make this a circus away. Because at the end of the day, this is really about honoring this young woman's life, celebrating her life. And I don't personally believe that we, a community, a public, are entitled to be a part of that. So I hope the family works it out. That's kind of what was the behind the scenes for those who were wondering and asking, who didn't hear from me privately about what's going on. That's that. So Unless you guys have something more. Oh, let me say this. Let me say this, because I knew it was something else I wanted to share with you. I did a segment today, I may have a clip or not, about a trial that I've been commentating on the Law and Crime Network. And this is really bothering me, you guys, because you can Google it and see the story. There's a young woman by the name of C.R.A.S.H. Dixon in Florida. And there's a man on trial right now. Well, he's been found guilty. His name is Markeith Lloyd, Loyd is his last name. And Markeith Lloyd is 42 years old. He was dating 24-year-old C.R.A.S.H. Dixon. And this is a situation where mom did not like Markeith, told the daughter, you need to stay away from him. Probably he's too old. He's a convict. He's been in prison. He's probably seen and done some things that you know nothing about in your 24 years on this earth. And you know how we can be, ladies. If you like me, when my mom told me no, I must, right? But for the grace of God, there go I. And so mom couldn't separate her daughter from this guy. And she ultimately got pregnant. And somehow he showed up at their house and wound up getting into a shouting match with this young girl. Her brother came out to check on her to make sure she was good, because they kind of knew that he was of a character that was probably different from their own. Long story short, he wound up shooting this girl and killing her. And so he went to trial. He was back up. Before he went to trial, he was out. They were looking for him. He was on the lam. They were chasing and looking for him, and they eventually found him. And when they found him in Florida, there was a female police lieutenant, and I don't know her name, but there was a female police lieutenant. Those of you in Florida may know this story. Tried to take him into custody, and I don't know if I'm assuming she tried to do it alone, or she confronted him and maybe was waiting for backup, but before they could get there, he shot and killed her. So as soon as they're done with this trial for C.R.A.S.H. Dixon's murder, he will go on trial for the murder of this Florida police lieutenant who he shot and killed. Now, the game that's kind of being played, if you will, in this trial for C.R.A.S.H. is that the jury knows nothing about the fact that he killed a police lieutenant in the midst of them trying to take him into custody. So the jury doesn't know anything about it. The jury does know that that there was a shooting. They know that shots were fired. They know that there was an altercation, because when backup got there and found out that he had shot and killed one of their own, I don't condone violence against the police. I don't condone violence by the police. But let's just say that Markeith Lloyd could captain any ship right now if he wanted to, because he's got a patch over his eye when he wears it. He's like a pirate. He lost his eye. They beat his ass. If I could just say that. They beat his ass. And he was almost unrecognizable by his family, well, when they finally did take him into custody. And so that's why the whole thing of the shooting came into the trial that they are that's ongoing right now for C.R.A.S.H. Dixon, because he's sitting there looking all crazy because he killed this female police lieutenant. The jury doesn't know that he killed her. They just know that there was a shooting, shots were fired, blah, blah, blah. But my point is this, because listen, I got, young people, 4 of them, who think I know nothing. Why would I listen to you? You're my mother. You know nothing. And I don't have any girls. I have sons. But listen, we do the best we can as parents, and we try to, tell our kids, who looks like they could be problematic, who you need to stay away from. And, sometimes they listen, whether they're male or female, and sometimes they don't. And sometimes, they have to learn these hard lessons. It's unfortunate because C.R.A.S.H. is not here. Her family is left now to deal with the aftermath of her not trusting and believing in her parents' wisdom, and that they had her best interests at heart. And so it just breaks my heart as a mother to sit there as a commentator or professional. It's real hard for me to watch this guy because, in his arrogance, he took the stand to testify in his own defense and tell everybody how he's the victim and how, it's out there if you want to find video. Certainly on YouTube, Law and Crime Network, you can find video about this trial. Markeith, Markeith, Lloyd, Loyd, is the defendant's name. And, you know, he's sitting in the chair and he's kind of swinging from left to right. And he's just insolent, disrespectful to the family. And I can just only imagine how difficult it is for the mother of Sade Dixon to have to sit there and listen to this monster talk about how he's the victim. And then, of course, followed by his mother, who's going to do what any mother would do for their own, which is say he's a amazing little monster. And she would absolutely come to jail every day to visit him if they don't put him to death. They're trying to get him life without parole. Should the jury decide to not put him to death, again, not knowing that he may very well and likely get the death penalty in the case of the trial that's coming next with the fatal shooting of the on-duty female lieutenant, who was a Black woman, by the way. So I just say this to say, you know, we gotta stay engaged with our young people, and we just have to really be diligent, and we have to be mindful of who our daughters are engaging with, who our daughters are bringing around their children, our grandchildren, right? You know, I shared with you a video of the little girl that's missing, Camille Cupcake McKinney, the 3-year-old that's missing. Still, they haven't found her. I think it's been several days, maybe 8 days. And, you know, every day that goes by is just not good. There's a video out there that they have shared with the community, hoping that someone may be able to identify 2 images, 2 men that were seen shortly before the little girl disappeared. And I'm of the belief, as I stated in the video that I shared with you on Facebook, that this may have been someone that was familiar to this little 3-year-old, because you see this person approach her, step away, and then get close to her again and begin to walk away. I don't know if they may have taken something the little girl was playing with and that's why she followed, or if she knew this person and felt comfortable following this person, and so then they walk out of the frame and we don't know what happens after that. Then there is another image of another male figure, what appears to be a male figure, come into focus. They don't know if this person is involved in the disappearance, the secondary person, or if the secondary person may just know who the first individual is. And so they're trying to identify, obviously, both of them. So for any of you who may live there, who may have been at this birthday party, because that's what it was a birthday party. So that means there were a lot of people there that could have been familiar to this little girl that may not have meant her well, because we're starting to see time and time again folks giving people access to their children that maybe should not have access to their children. So for those of you that are with me on Facebook, take a look at that link. I've also posted it on my YouTube channel. So subbies, you can take a look at the video regarding Camille Cupcake McKinney, and take a look at the one that's shared within that story that shows these 2 male figures, because they are desperately, desperately trying to identify them and find this little girl alive. So I wanted to share that with you very quickly. And again, unless you have something for me, that's all I got. I'm going to let you get back to your evening, and I am going to get back to mine. Until next time, family, be good. Be safe.